News time on KCIM. Let's throw it back on over to Nathan Cohns in the news studio.
Thank you very much, John, and good morning, everyone. IKM Manning's basketball game tonight will be the annual Coaches versus Cancer fundraising event for the Wolves. The Western Iowa Conference has been hosting games all week in honor of those fighting the battle against cancer, while also raising money to donate to such causes. IKM Manning Assistant Principal and Athletic Director Corey McCarville says Student Council and Student Council sponsor Beth Hagedorn have done an outstanding job organizing and fundraising for the cancer events, as well as the WIC for making this a conference-wide event to help raise even more money.
There's a variety of things that are going to happen at halftime. We're going to do a pass the bucket event where they're going to pass around the bucket and all the proceeds will go to the American Cancer Society. We're doing a half-court shot at halftime of the girls' game. So we're just working very hard, very diligently to raise money and raise awareness for cancer awareness and the American Cancer Society.
McCarville says the IK Manning District has a personal tie when it comes to cancer fundraising, and he couldn't be more honored to help out other cancer patients.
For us, it's very special because we had a former IKM Manning coach, Larry Blake, pass away from cancer. So the class of 2010 is donating $500 to the American Cancer Society in Coach Blake's honor. We're going to give a little presentation to Coach Blake's family. A lot of his family's coming back for the event, so we're just going to try to recognize them and the great work that he did.
In conjunction with the Coaches versus Cancer event, the IKM Manning FFA alumni will also be holding a spaghetti supper to raise funds to support scholarship opportunities the same evening for current FFA members. That supper will start at 4:30 and runs until 7 o'clock in the high school cafeteria. The meal consists of spaghetti with either Alfredo or red sauce, a salad, garlic bread, as well as an assortment of bars. They have dine-in, carry-out, and delivery options within the city of limits for delivery anyway. So again, that IKM Manning Coaches versus Cancer and alumni spaghetti supper going to be starting at 4:30 tonight, and they're going on through the end of tonight's ball games. Looking elsewhere, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, along with 24 other Republican governors, issued a joint statement Thursday expressing strong support for Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Texas's constitutional right to self-defense amid what they describe as unprecedented illegal immigration and security challenges along the southern border. In that statement, the governors criticized the Biden administration for leaving the nation vulnerable to illegal immigration and failing to enforce immigration laws. They argue that Texas has every legal justification under the U.S. Constitution's Article 4, Section 4, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 to take action to protect its sovereignty due to the federal government's abdication of its duties. The joint statement emphasizes the governor's solidarity with Texas, highlighting the need to employ various tools and strategies, including razor wire fences, to secure the border against the influx of legal immigrants, drugs, and potential security threats. The U.S. Supreme Court recently lifted an injunction on Customs and Border Patrol that prohibited them from removing Texas-placed barriers along the border. Governor Abbott is refusing federal agents access to the Texas-controlled locations. Other signatories to the statement include governors from Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. So a lot of states there. If you missed any of those, you can find that story online at 1380kcim.com. And moving right along, White Rock Conservancy in Coon Rapids is kicking off its first event for their 20th anniversary, and that's coming up this weekend. White Rock is acknowledging the big milestone with 20 scheduled events throughout the year to engage the public in the beautiful landscapes and recreational opportunities offered. This Saturday, Liz Garst will be giving a presentation about the history of White Rock. Executive Director Kate Zimmerman says there's no better way to kick off the 20-year celebration other than learning about how White Rock got its start all those years ago.
Having a nice kickoff to talk about the history of White Rock and how it got founded and the choices the family made to gift it to the public.
The program begins at 10 a.m. at the Baroque Event Center located off of Highway 141 east of Coon Rapids. Zimmerman says Liz will talk about a little bit of everything, especially about the visit from Nikita Khrushchev back in 1959 to the Garst farm.
She'll talk about the history of the Garst family and Garst Seed, a little bit about the history of her family acquiring the properties, and then how they went about establishing White Rock and gifting it.
Anyone is welcome to attend that event on Saturday, and no registration is required. Zimmerman says to make sure to follow White Rock Conservancy's social media pages to stay up to date on all of the upcoming events that will be held throughout the year, as well as the entire White Rock Conservancy organization. Looking forward to celebrating the event with everyone. And that is going to be wrapping up your KCIM 7 o'clock news right here on KCIM. I'm Nathan Cones reporting.
I did want to mention to everybody out there that there is an article that you have online about a group called All Cultures Are Equal. You did the story last hour. It is an amazing, amazing story. So I wanted everybody to make sure they go to our website, go to our mobile app, and look up that story and listen to it. It's really, really great.
Yeah, it's a pretty lengthy one. It was like the only story I ran at 6 o'clock. So it's long. It's an in-depth issue, really, to be talked about. I've heard a lot of things being discussed about it in terms of, concerns, where they have plans, all that kind of stuff. And again, it's something that's been happening really informally for the last, I'd say, 20-ish months or so. But it's much more in-depth than people realize and not nearly as fast-moving as people think. So heard all kinds of stuff about what this group is planning to do. Most of it is not true. So check it out. And then again, the guy I talked to, Jim Friel, he's one of the members of the steering committee. It's a 13-member group on that end. If you have questions or concerns or just want some things explained, feel free to reach out. He's very, very approachable. You know
what struck me about the story is they're approaching an issue with positivity instead of fear or, kind of buying into what's easy to leap to a conclusion on. So they're just doing it in a positive way. And I thought it was a very cool story. So I was so happy to hear that one this morning.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, it's a delicate topic, and people are kind of afraid to speak candidly about it. And I guess I'll be the first to kind of do that. I mean, I was initially concerned. I was like, I don't know how that's going to work, guys. Just my gut.
See, that's just the first thing everybody kind of jumps to, and me included. So yeah.
So then they kind of talk a little bit about it, and Jim was really honest with me about it, and he's kind of like, we're not really sure on some of those. That's why we're doing this. Like, if clearly housing's an issue, that's one that came up right away. One of my questions for him was like, where will these people stay even if they do come? And he's like, good question. We don't know.
Yeah,
we're working on it.
And you will never solve a problem unless you work on it, unless you talk about it. So thanks for that story. Again, we really, really appreciate that one. So Nathan Cones with your news here this morning. I'll have a look at the forecast. Good news going on there, too. Get ready for the major meltdown.